I'm Kunal Chatwani, representing the ARC Exchange, which is an initiative of Global Advertisers Private Limited, your very own outdoor media partner. Being a 24-year-old company, we have created an indisputable niche for ourselves by being a complete outdoor media solution for brands. On behalf of Mr. Sanjeev Gupta and the Global Advertisers team, I hereby take an opportunity to introduce our esteemed panelists for today's panel discussion on how design can impact wellness. Starting with Ms. Kanika Bawa, who is the CEO and Design Director of Kanika Bawa Design. Architect Trupti Puranik, founder of Studio Elements, Design and Architecture, along with 7 Makeover Angels, Interior Styling and Art, also founder of Studio Elements Art Gallery. Mrs. Sonia Podar, Managing Director of Studio Purple, Interior Design and Shash, line of designer furniture. She's also the owner of 7 Makeover Angels and Interior Styling Company. Mrs. Ami Mehta, founder of Rising Energy, the Interior Hub, also architect designer of Mega Realtors. Mrs. Geeta Krishna, managing partner of Divine Proportion Interiors LLP. Now, I would like to request Ms. Kanika Bawa to throw some light on today's topic of discussion.
Yes, thank you, Kunal. Can we have the slides? So, while he's getting the slides up, there is an astonishing, this is like a startling, statistics. Which of us have really dwelled into this fact that 85% and 93% of our lives we are only indoors, and just the remaining we're outdoors. The WHO, the World Health Organization, states that they are definite determinants of wellness. Okay, like very important things: the place where we live, how we live, our surroundings, genetics, and of course much more. The next slide, please. The next slide, Kunal. Okay, so amazing. So this is what all of us know, but here you see it really striking in your eye. We are a society of 24/7, a society who's never sleeping, who's never, taking rest. So being a 24/7 society, we are actually disconnected from the natural rhythms of nature, fresh air and sunlight. Very important points for wellness. Interestingly, there is a term which is called the circadian rhythm. It is a neurophysiological term. Okay, hardly many people know about it. Very few people know, and as designers and viewers, even clients, there is a responsibility of us, and there is a necessity to be aware of this terminology, which is the circadian rhythm. So it's so interesting. What is this jargon? Okay, so the circadian rhythm is actually the neurophysiological term for our body's 24 hours body clock. So the time we wake up, the time we sleep, there's a clock inside our bodies which gets affected, right? Due to our circumstances, our situations, the programming around us. So this is a clock which is so important because it anticipates, it adapts to different phases of the day, sleep and awake. So these are getting all disturbed. So here we come to wellness, the issue of wellness. The next slide, please. Yes. So here you have the circadian rhythm. You can see the Da Vinci's man, okay, in the center, and see his balance. Interestingly, you can see from 12 o'clock noon to 12 o'clock at night, midnight, what is going around, the 360 degrees, what our body turns into. It revolves from getting up, waking up. What is interesting to note, there are times when the body is at rest. There's a time when the body is filtering. There's a time when the body is renewing the energy cells. Okay. So you may ask me, so why are we, talking about this? So this is very important because only if you are aware of your circadian rhythm can you, experience or balance the wellness around you or about you. For example, let me tell you, if you have to sleep, your body is time to sleep. Now it says here there is midnight and the deepest sleep is at 2 o'clock. So imagine at 2 o'clock, if you are in an environment which is totally activated by colors, so you have reds, yellows, you will never get sleep. To sleep well, you need to have calm. You need to have rest colors around you. So if you're getting into the groove, say, let's say from, 10:30, 11, so you need to induce your surroundings have to be appropriate for you to get into a good sleep. Same way, you see the classic problems with, people who are flying, air hostesses, pilots. What happens? Their body clock goes for a toss. So they are guys who really need to be, who need to balance their spirit of mind, body, essentially. Why? Because a pilot is flying in the morning, he gets to, the whole night he's flying, morning he gets to sleep. So in his room, that means you need to instill materials, which is what? When there is daylight outside, he needs to feel extreme darkness in his room. Only then he is going to sleep, right? For that, what do you need? Your furnishings need total sound and total light block. So it has to have a blackout curtain. Plus, it's nicer if his room is insulated, because in the day, supposing his house or his family has a lot of noises around, the doorbell ringing, at least he's not going to be disturbed. So if you see, as designers, as consumers, as clients, as any, even as the health activist, a health enthusiast, we all need to be concerned with this. And the circadian rhythm is a wonderful example for us to look at, because it also tells us when is the time we have the highest blood pressure. Okay. So these are things where nature is giving us, okay, what is the time when you need to go out to have fresh air, because your oxygen level needs to be renewal inside, the stale air needs to go. So all these things we are actually overlooking today, but this is the need of the hour. We really need to be in sync with our surrounds, with nature, outdoors. A lot of us need to move. We all need to move outdoors. So from the 85 to 93%, we actually need to increase the outdoor part and decrease the indoor part. That itself is going to reassure us into a better balance, and then of course towards wellness. Yes. The next slide, please. Yes. So this is our design by my company, Kanika Baba Design. So we've done this wellness design for a hotel room. So I'd love to, here it's appropriately, headed with saying design meets wellness. So if you see, this is a nice jugalbandi. You see all the elements of wellness infused, and that itself is such a potent, it's such a powerful design. When you look at the visual, okay, this is an actual site. So you have the hotel bedroom, you have the study there. You see everything here, which is the wellness colors. You have the wallpaper, there is some artwork. You see sustainable materials, which again, one of the presenters, panelists will be talking about. You have light, space. I think Trupti is going to be talking of light and space, ventilation, and also feel and experience. So all in all, this is an example of how we correlate, how designers can correlate. And this is, we're going to have this interesting insight where all the panelists are going to present their take on different aspects, from the wellness colors to sustainable materials to light, space, ventilation, and the feel and experience. So I'd like to now hand over to Trupti, who's going to take it forward.
Thank you so much, Kanika. Yeah. Hello, everyone. So when I started to think about this particular topic, the design and the light impacting the wellness of the person. So when I started to think, the first image came to my mind was of the movie Room, which I recently saw. It revolves around the boy, 5-year-old, and the room he is born in. For him, that is the whole space. It has only one source of light, as you can see in the image, is a skylight and no windows. And all required things like kitchen, a bathroom, one bed, one cupboard, a table and chair in that particular room. Did it affect that boy mentally or physically? No, it didn't. Why? As he was not aware about the outer space. But for us, we are aware what we need for mental well-being and physical well-being too. As a designer, when we visit a particular space, we immediately note down many aspects of that particular space. And we start to visualize the things. We visualize many design aspects of that particular space as per the client's requirement. That is very important because client's requirement are going to decide what we are going to design in that particular space for the client's well-being. So third slide, Kunal. As a designer, the client is the key person for whom we design the space. That space directly affects his mental and physical well-being. For example, we check how many windows are there, cross ventilation is there, the direction the windows are facing, how is the light entering in the room, in that particular space, if it is a spa area like it is there in the photographs, like a particular spa location with a reception area, a passage area, a stairway to go to any particular lobby. So we decide how much is the light entering into that particular space. According the room layout is designed as per client's inputs and purpose of that space. Then comes the material to be used, internal lighting, electrical layouts, color choices, and then styling with planters, candles, and furnishing. Yes, furnishing also plays a very important role in designing for the well-being of that particular person living in that space. All aspects combined together contribute to mental and physical wellness. Next, please. When we say wellness, we think about wellness resorts. Why they are different and how they affect our well-being on mental and physical level. As I have documented few, Atmantan at Mulshi, Pune is one of the space. It is located near Mulshi River, and so it has a very beautiful and serene location. Next, please. Anando in Himalayas. Oh, wow. It's such a superb location. And Hilton Wellness at Lonavala, to name a few. When I stayed at those places, I realized the location of those resorts make them exclusive as they're closer to nature. Their structures are made using the natural material and very earthy color schemes with neutral colors, make them more therapeutic. Next, please. Most important aspect is lighting. They focus on natural light. Openings are made to create magical play of light and shade. Yet few lights are added to create dramatic and soothing effects on our mind. See, when there is not a natural light is available, we cannot alter the light entering into the room, like the window dimension and the window sizes in the apartment. We need to consider the internal lighting layout and the lights which we are using in that space. So while choosing the light, we need to understand the function of the space. How you want to feel, cozy and relaxed or energetic and industrious. As to create wellness in space, as to create wellness in our spaces through lighting, we cannot alter windows. Next, please. Lighting can be categorized into 3 types. Lighting for overall illusion. It means the overall lighting condition of the room we can improve by panel lighting and the down lighting like COBs, etc. Then B, we can ask task lighting, that is activity center functions, like lights for reading areas, lights for meditation rooms, like that one. Then the accent lighting, to highlight like the specific features, like an art piece on the wall or a wallpaper. Home should be lit with warm yellow colors, warm yellow lights for the cozy at home level. White light keeps us energized with the bright blue tone lights. Hence, we see them in the workspace. Like we can go from Kelvin 2700 to 6000 Kelvin. Layer of lights introduce a good mix of panel lights, directional lights, table lights, and floor lamps. Candle reading lights to create a magical ambience. So you can see in the pictures that we can go from warm lights to yellow lights. Yeah, you can see from warm yellow lights to white blue lights. So the transition you can see in the pictures below. So next, please. We can also use the dimmer switches, which are readily available. All the brands have the dimmer switches, are the perfect solution to create mood lighting and also saves the energy. Use hanging lights to illuminate dark corners. You can use either a hanging light or a table lamp to illuminate a particular dark corner. Golden rules are to focus the light where it matters. Example, an artwork highlight or a wallpaper. Go dramatic with fittings. Install one statement light fitting, like oversized chandelier. You can see in the picture which I have mentioned, and a brass pendant light. See on the paintings we have a focus light, and a dark and an oversized chandelier can be put in a table or a living room on a dining table. It will give an excellent wow factor to your space. I think I cannot see the slide properly, Kunal. To create a sense of intimacy or spa-like luxury, consider installing a sculpture pendant light. The light itself is a beautiful object. That means the eye on arrival to the room. They make the room look very spacious. So guys, this was mainly the topic of space and lighting, how they affect your mental and physical well-being together. The designing particular space and the lighting aspect, both combined together. But yes, there are many more aspects like experiential spaces, which will be taken by Sonia. But first, let's have a whole question for you. Okay. The space plays a vital role in person's mental and physical wellness. Do you all agree? Yes or no? Please give a poll.
Wow.
100% yes.
Wow.
Very well done. Very well done.
Amazing.
Amazing. You guys are amazing. Thank you, lovely audience. And now, Sonia, can you take our lovely audience through experiential spaces? Thank you so much, guys.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, Trupti. It was a very insightful discussion, and all the information that you gave is so apt in creating space wellness that our audience reacted so well to the poll. So what a lovely audience here. Welcome you all. Good afternoon, everybody. So while we are talking about wellness, it is so important to understand what experiential design is. So let me make it simple for you. Experiential design aims at engaging the viewer on multiple sensory levels. Basically engaging viewers or the occupants at multiple sensory levels, and this is created to get a positive and a memorable experience of any brand or any space. So as designers, we have to elevate our designing to create spaces and choose materials, which are going to emphasize wellness and the overall betterment of a human being. And that is what is the foundation of experiential design. So most of us, the audience, will agree that, we all have feelings, and feelings are real. We walk into any space and you feel, wow, this is luxurious. You feel some spaces claustrophobic, or some places just soothing. So we all have our reactions to spaces. So while designing, it is very obvious that as designers, we have to tap into the 5 senses, human senses, which is sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. So while feelings and emotions are real, these 5 senses are the very basis of getting out the reactions and emotions from us. You know, you're going to feel persuasion, relaxation, healing, and that is all going to come from emotions which are evoked by the senses. So experiential design is basically looking at how humans interact within a space, they interact with the built environment, and also a design should now cater not just to human needs, but also to human experiences which are going to evoke these feelings. So let us see now how it is applied in design, what experiential design is all about. So can we have the slides now, Kunal? Yeah, thank you. So while we are talking about experiential design, the basis is understanding the feeling associated which the client wants, you know. So today clients are traveling a lot, we are having modern lifestyles, you know. There are more events and we are discovering and socializing, engaging with people, meeting new people, having life experiences. So design briefs are generally revolving around some reliving memories of what we have experienced. So can we have the next slide here? Yeah, so if you look at this, this is like a hot air balloon. So a person who has gone to a hot air balloon ride is going to feel a lot of emotions. You know, they are going to feel how the world is looking beautiful from the top. The colors of the balloon are so bright and colorful. So if we have to design interior which is based on this memorable experience, what will we do? How to apply it to design? So as designers, we'll use a color palette which is bright. We can team it with the sky color. So if you see there's a sofa here in the background which is like orange color. There are also colors in the artwork which are inspired by this color palette, which is like a charcoal, a burnt orange, a salmon pink, a peach, and a sky blue. If you see the art pictures that we are using can also have these colors. So all these are going to, you know, memorize, relive the experience what this person has felt. The room is also very spacious over here. If you see to the right, there is a gallery wall, and on this sofa we have a myriad of colors over here, you know. So it is all the colorful experience of how beautiful life is, which is being captured in the interiors over here. If you look at another experience, can we have the next slide here, Kunal? Yeah, now some people love nature, and there are most of us who love butterflies. They're such beautiful creatures. Now, if you look at this, you know, butterflies can be anybody's favorite, you know, natural thing. So if you see, we have developed a color palette here, which is like a burnt orange, there's a sage green, there's salmon pink, there's a charcoal, there's a very light beige, there's even golden. The classic butterfly chair that is developed, that is also developed inspiring with nature, with the butterfly. So if you see one look at the butterfly chair and you're going to remember what a butterfly is, the magic of butterflies. If you look at a table setting picture, these accessories are also developed as per the theme of the butterflies. Fabrics are developed in the same way. So all this is enhancing the experience of, you know, like admiring the beauty in nature, admiring the experience of how beautiful a butterfly is and applying it to interiors. So moving on, what we can do is, if you have the next slide now. Now in commercial spaces, how do we apply it? So basically of any brand, the signage and the decor, they have to strongly align with the brand message. That is the way experiential design is working for commercial spaces. So Starbucks, I would like you to give the example of Starbucks here. So Starbucks basically has this concept that they need a place where people find connection, and it should also fit in seamlessly with the neighborhood. So if you've been to Starbucks cafes, I'm sure all of you have been there. If you see their cafes, they capture the essence of any building where they are. You know, they're essentially in sync with the environment around. They're having this bright loft type interior style, and they're having soft music, and there are relevant fabrics creating a calm and contemporary feel, you know. So the green color branding which they're using, that is also signifying their approach towards sustainability. In fact, they were the first people to introduce paper straws. So everything what they're trying to signify here is emotional connect. So the thing is, a person who would like to visit them, would like to spend hours over there, would like to spend more time over there, and would like to come back to their space. So the entire design theme, the design brief revolves around that. So that is how experiential spaces, experiential design, sensory design is applied to commercial spaces. Now, if you look at how to create immersive spaces with senses, let's take a look at sight. Now, one look at this picture and you feel, wow, you feel luxury. So it is about using color, light, shapes, the natural light which is coming in. So it's all about trying to make a person feel comfortable in a space. It is how a person is going to relate to the space, and it is basically a clutter-free space over here. So the visual impact that is created is most crucial in our experiential design. Visual impact is the first sense which a designer looks to address to. So that is the success of a design when you are getting visual comfort in a design. Like you have to have that wow feel factor and that comfort level. Any space which is giving you a negative vibe in the first sight, the first look, is not going to be working for you. So if you look at sound, next slide, please. Can we have the next slide? Yeah, thank you. So if you look at sound, we always, all of us refer to sound. We have this beautiful wind chimes in our house because that soft sound is soothing you. It is calming you. The sound of water is also extremely calming. And it is used in offices to promote productivity. It is also used to distress you. If you see in spas, there is always this soft music playing. So it is basically, when you're using it in a corporate setting, they are going to enhance your productivity. The workers are going to feel more focused. A lot of offices are playing Gayatri mantras. They are also playing mantras like just Shivoham. They are playing mantras like just Shreem, 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 for everybody to feel focused and to feel very calm, So that is enhancing productivity in any space. And when you come home, you always want to come home to calming spaces, and you want to feel welcome. You just want to de-stress from your fast-paced life. So you're having things like Alexa, there's automation where you have scenes where you're welcome to your house where you are de-stressing and it's your cozy cocoon. So that is how you can apply sound. Next, we are coming to smell. Change the slide, please, Kunal. Next slide, please. Yeah. So if you're looking at smell, designer research connects smell and memory together. So people often recall aromas and they connect to a meeting with somebody, like over a cup of coffee, you can remember meeting a special person, or you can remember the aroma of your grandmother's sari. I'm sure most of you experienced that. And if there are book lovers here, they can, relate to, enjoying the smell of the book, and, it makes you feel so good. So the odor of books and all this, so aroma is always triggering your experiences. Other than that, lavender fragrances are there to calm you. So you can have indoor plants which are fragrant like peace lilies and lavenders. Now these are extremely soothing. Not only that, they're also purifying in nature. So basically, you can use all these nature therapies as well to use the sense of smell and apply it to an experiential design. When we talk about taste, next slide, please. Next slide, please. So when we are talking about taste, color matters a lot. So if you see on the left, there is a kitchen which is made in red. Now the red color, now Pantone 485C is the color which is applied by all major brands because it's a warm color and it is evoking hunger. So if you see, when we are designing kitchens, the primary colors which are selected are greens and yellows and blues and sometimes even reds, because these are the colors which are going to evoke taste, evoke the feeling of hunger. So primarily McDonald's, Coke and Kit Kat, to give you a few examples, all these brands are also using these colors. And most of the time, if you walk into McD, you will see a lot of graphics. You will see somewhere they're continuously repeating those colors because it is going to create hunger in you. So when you're applying it in residences, what happens is colors like orange, they are evoking the feeling of saltiness. Green is evoking bitterness. Blue is for sweetness. Blue is also related to seafood, and red is you feel that nice chatpata spicy taste. So colors are evoking hunger. So if you apply it very carefully, they can lead to a very healthy, nutritious living life for all of us. if we look at the sense of touch now, next slide, please. Yes, touch. After the visual impact, the most personal thing that anybody feels is touching a chair or a sofa. It is the most personal experience that anybody can feel. You know, sitting on some couch can be absolutely relaxing. Some people prefer very soft sofas. Some people prefer the very hard ones, you know, or some people find marble very cold to the feet. Some people like, that's why I like the parkway flooring. So, you know, all this is depending on personal experiences. And not only that, these materials are also going to signify luxury. They are going to also signify different levels of comfort which a person associates. For example, a person would actually, if he's living in a bungalow and is living in a native place, he would actually like his walls to be covered with mud plaster to give the, you know, natural feel over there. So it is all about what a person connects to emotionally, relives what he's lived in his childhood. But I would like to tell you the visual effect also. Like if you look at this picture where you see the toes of a person on this rug, one look at this picture and you can actually feel what the person is feeling in your toes as well. So one look at the finishing is going to immediately connect you to that feeling of softness, you know. So that is the importance of experiential design and how you should apply it in interiors, not only as professionals, but generally when you're picking up things for your residents. So if you look at the next slide, please. Yeah, if you see here, these are furnitures designed by our in-house brand, which is Sash by Studio Purple. On the left is a Syzygy table. It is a vegetal appearance table. It is inspired by the shape of leaves over here, and these are just 3 leaves kept together to make a formation. Now, if you see the table on the right, yeah, this is a knobby table. This is again inspired by the shape of a leaf which is dried up and twisted. So if you see, these tables are designed in sync with experiential principles. You know, this coffee table pleasantly recalls the reassuring warmth of the natural forms and also the warmth of wood teamed with the memory of some leaf shape. You know, we all used to keep those leaves kept in our books, you know. So it is all evoking memories and experience, and it's a visual delight. Anytime I look at it, I'm going to feel very warmth about it. So this is an in-house design by Team Studio Purple, Sash by Studio Purple. So to summarize, can we have the next slide now? So to summarize, experiential spaces are using a sensory approach to design for engagement and emotional connection. They are also using sensory design to create spaces that enhance workflow and positivity, and also to optimize emotional and physical well-being of the occupant. Can we have the next slide now? So for more information on a detailed experiential design, you can visit our website wherein we have a lot of blogs which I have written. There's a lot of information in detail about experiential design for wellness. And also you can go up to our YouTube channel, which is Studio Purple Interior Design, and also our Instagram, which is studiopurple.co.in. There's a lot of knowledge here of how you can apply this with simple tips. You can achieve wellness in your own homes. So I think we should now move on to a poll question here. Yeah, how important is emotional connect for a space design? Let's see, I'm now curious. Wow. Oh, that's cool. A whooping 78% think it's super important. Super. Thank you, audience, for being so cooperative and so interactive with us. It's wonderful. So emotional connect is so important over here. So while we are talking about wellness, and Trupti has spoken about how colors and lights and, you know, it's all affecting the psyche of any person. Ami, would you like to elaborate further on how color can be used to make any space a life enhancing and a successful life for some person?
Sure, Sonia. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome all. Thank you, Sonia. So, guys, it was wonderful to understand how the experiential spaces play the vital role in designing. So now let's understand in these design elements how the punches of colors helps in enhancement of interiors and improving your wellness. So Kunal, can we have a slides, please? Can we start with the slides? So colors. What are colors and how does it play the important role in our life and also in interiors? Colors, like features, they follow the changes of the emotions and is the power which influences the soul, creating the well-balanced and the positive environment in the family. You know, this therapy has been used since last almost 5,000 years. Next slide, please, Kunal. In interiors, there are a lot of different elements and different impact of colors which we use. So we use lighter colors and darker colors. So lighter colors and darker colors have their own impact. For example, lighter colors are more airy and it can make your room feel look larger. And it also gives positive and productive environment. While coming to darker colors makes your room feel small and compact. So to give a more brief introduction about some shades of colors, let me introduce you a palette called Vibgyor. So Vibgyor is something which we all are known about. Let's understand some specifications of Vibgyor. In Vibgyor, we have cool colors, we have warm colors, and we have natural colors. Cool colors, when they are used, it evokes the feeling of comfort, positive mindset, and encouragement of communication and much more. Coming to warm colors. Warm colors, it evokes the gloomy mood and makes the environment look small and compact. Whereas when we are using natural colors in interiors, it gives you calmness within. So let's understand some importance of these colors, how it helps as per design, as per Vastu, and as per our wellness. So let's start with cool colors. As everyone knows, we have our cool colors which is violet, indigo, blue, and green. So now let's understand that how these color elements can be used in interior. Coming to violet and indigo. Using these shades of violet and indigo in the northeast direction of the house. Northeast direction of the house where we have temples, meditation rooms. It helps in high concentration, power, and also the stability of the mind. That's the reason we use violet and indigos in these areas of the environmental. Now comes blue. Blue, we can use it in the northwest and the west direction of the house, where normally we design its room, guest rooms, toilets. The reason to use blue in these areas is because it gives us a lot of peace, a lot of calmness, emotions, and the inspirations of the people staying in that area of the room. So we always talk about go green. Now, why a green color is used? Green is used in the north direction of the house. Is used the green color in the north direction of the house. Normally, we have the placements of account rooms. We have the placement of study rooms. Because the reason to use green colors, it helps in the growth of education. It helps in creating new ideas, which we normally look for. It also helps in advancement of growth and speech. So these were some of the cool colors which we normally try using in these directions. Now let's come to the warm colors. So warm colors are yellow, orange, and red. Coming to yellow, why do you need the shades of yellow and where should it be applied? So the shades of yellow are normally used in the southwest direction of the bedrooms. The southwest direction of the bedrooms, when you are using the yellow colors, it is more used for the mature decisions It is also used for the financial prosperity, which normally we look into that, okay, how our business growth will happen, how the financial prosperity is possible. And most important is for the couples, it deepens the relationship. That's the reason we normally try to use the shades of colors in these directions of the house. Now let's talk about something orange and red. These are the warm colors. Orange and red is a color which we normally use in the south and the southeast direction of the room, where normally the youth people, the ambition people should be staying for the opportunities. The reason why we use these colors is because it increases a lot of energy and also the willpower of the individuals. So we heard about the cool colors. We also heard about the warm colors. Now let's talk about something about the natural colors. So what are natural colors? So natural colors are the shades of white. They are the shades of gray and brown. Normally we use these shades of colors in the center region of the house. Center region of the house is what we call is Brahmasthana. So this color which is used in the center region is because for the victory, most important is for the mind purity and pious. So these were the things pertaining to the elements of shades of colors. These were the some tips as per the Vastu and as per the designing. Now let's come to aesthetics. Even the aesthetics, in aesthetics, these color plays a lot of big roles pertaining to any pertaining to wall designing, pertaining to any area where you require a lot of aesthetically balancing it with the colors. Coming to aesthetics, when you are using deep colors, the deep colors blur the edges of the walls. Deep color blurs the edges of the walls. It creates an illusion of an endless and expansive of the room. Always apply dark colors on the walls, lighter furnishings and the linens balance the room. You also need to place few bright painting on a wall shelf of the color and the colorful accessories. So this, why do you need this, is because this redirects the focus to the forefront, allowing the walls acting simply as a backdrop and giving a good aesthetic looks. So friends, this is how the key to design using color elements in therapy helps the individuals for the success and for the prosperity. So now can we have a poll please?
Stop that.
So how do you feel that the key element of the color therapy helps in your success and progress? Kunal? Kunal?
Yeah, so the results are shared. I don't know if
It's showing 100%.
yeah.
Oh wow, so that was great, and I'm sure everyone has
Amazing.
understood the whole concept very nicely. And thank you
Yeah.
everyone for listening. So as we have heard about the lightings, spaces, colors, so let's hear more about the biophilic designs using the natural elements into the design process by Geeta. Thank you everyone.
She's mute. She's mute.
Unmute, Geeta.
Geeta, we can't hear you.
Unmute.
I got it. So thank you, Ami. That was a nice and crisp talk on colors, and it's really great to be speaking with all of you today on this platform. So coming to the biophilic design, first let me attempt to explain what is biophilia. It's a human being's innate affinity for the nature, and also it's the inborn need to connect with it. Simple examples are it's very captivating, to watch waves, and also it is therapeutic to have a stroll in the garden, as well as some people are inspired by looking at the nature. So there are quite a few research that has gone into the biophilic design and its effects. So the biophilic design has a great positive impact on well-being. That's you can say stress levels will be reduced, then decreased blood pressure, improved cognitive function, reduced heart rate variability, and increase in activity in the nervous system. These are to name a few. But the problem is, as Kanika also mentioned, growingly 90% of the time is spent in indoors. So the scope of having such experience is very, very limited in our daily lives. So as designers, it becomes our responsibility to bring in biophilia into our designs to make them more biophilic. So the basic principle of biophilic design is to connect humans with the nature by bringing characteristics of natural world into the built spaces. So there are certain established patterns we as designers can follow to make our designs biophilic. We can actually categorize them into three groups, that is nature in the space, then natural analogs, and nature of the space. So the first one in this is visual connections to the nature. Potted plants is the simplest way to achieve this. We all know very well how helpful certain plants are to purify air from the chemicals produced by wall paints, carpets, surface finishes, etc. So we can use them in various heights and forms, like large potted plants on floor, then small plants on furniture, then maybe hanging pots, or maybe in the form of vertical gardens as well. And one more beautiful way to hang is hanging artworks depicting the nature. The second one is non-visual connections to the nature. So it can be attained by including features like electronic streaming of natural sounds, and also including essential oil diffusers, like that. Third one is non-rhythmic sensory stimuli. So as the name suggests, it's non-rhythmic. It shouldn't be constant in our environments. So these are very brief movements and sensory effects for not more than 20 seconds, but at intervals of 20 or 30 minutes. So the aim is to have a joyful distraction to help us reset our mind and also to refocus our energies. So this can be achieved by displaying art that creates, beautiful light patterns on the wall. Also, we can place scented plants strategically. That is also one more way of achieving this element. The fourth one is presence of water. So as we all agree, water is inherently calming. And so we can introduce this element in the form of fountains, or aquarium, or a water curtain, or simply an artwork of water body. So these features definitely bring a sense of serenity to the space. Next slide, please, Kanal. Yeah, so then comes the light. Tripti has already mentioned, and she has covered it very well. So I'll just say that, this is important. We use light, both dynamic and diffused light, in combination. So moving on, the next one is thermal and airflow variability. So here again, variety is the key when it comes to this pattern. So it's a established fact that when we emulate nature in our personal surroundings, in terms of temperature and airflow, our bodies react in positive ways. So then moving on, the next one in this category is connection with natural systems. So as designers, we can, plan windows and window treatments to be able to notice or, be aware of simple natural processes like sunrise or sunset, or even, beauty of a rainy day, perhaps that also can be done. Now we are moving into the natural analogs. The first one is, we adapting biomorphic shapes and forms in our designs. And these can be like, flowers, leaves, twigs, etc. Also important is, include material in our design, which are very close to nature, like wood, bamboo, stone, which are very warm and also sustainable choices of materials. And most important thing is they require really, really minimal processing. The next one in this category is to adapt the complexity and order of the nature and then bring it into your design. So we can play with symmetry to get in order into the design, and also we can use variety of patterns to eliminate the harmony, the monotony in the design. Marching forward, now we are talking about nature of the space. The first one in this is prospect. So while creating a space, the aim is to create in a way that it feels open and free, while also having a sense of safety and control. So this can be achieved by, designing the focal lengths carefully, equal or longer than 10 feet. For instance, we can display a piece of art at the end of the room. So this will highlight the open space and also while keeping the focal point in the room. Next one is we have to also think about creating refuge spaces, in kind of spaces, for withdrawal, like from our overstimulated environment. So such places have helped to keep our blood pressure and heart rate controlled. So we can create these spaces by incorporating high-backed chairs, maybe, or reading nooks somewhere, or we can introduce canopy beds beautifully in the bedrooms. And in office perspective, we can look at booth seating in offices, as you can see in the slide. The next one is most very intrinsic to the nature. As we all know, nature is mysterious. So we can adapt this in our design to have the curiosity levels up. And also the idea is to create a sense of anticipation and interest. So we can, if there is a beautiful, view over the window, then blocking it partially with the translucent curtain, the person has to move around and to see, to see the full scene of the place. So this can do the trick. The last pattern I would like to touch upon is risk. So basically it's, introducing a threat that has a reliable safeguard. So having this awareness, it seems, of a controllable risk produces dopamine and pleasure responses. We can incorporate art that seems to defy gravity, probably, or we can hang life-size framed photographs of wild animals. So these are few creative ways to achieve biophilic design. And one, for me, I strongly believe biophilic design will help us to live our lives to the fullest and reduces our stress load in our increasingly busy city lives. So biophilia advocates a humanistic approach to design and also helps us celebrate how we live, how we work, and also learn from nature. So with this, I propose to ask the audience a question here. Should I, or Kunal, will you? Yeah. How important is it in your agenda to have indoor plants on a scale of 1 to 10? Okay, nice. That's an interesting mix of responses.
Yeah, it's a mix of responses. So that's
Nice.
Now, indoor plants, like, people don't want much because of the care they have to take, maintenance.
yeah, actually.
Yeah, but 53% is good. It's good. It's like
Yeah.
there is a rising awareness about this over here. That's what we know from this poll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kanika, can you please summarize all these concepts and the elements we have discussed for our audience?
Yeah, Kunal, can I request you to just run those slides, because the first, when you were running, so can you start from the first one, because a lot of them are written. They can't know the first slide, because there was that block. Yeah. So basically I'll just skim through this. Astonishing facts and figures we all don't realize, we take it for granted. So it's 85 to 93%. We're indoors. We need to get out of our homes more often. That was what I spoke about in the first slide. Coming to the second one. Yes. So this is a very interesting terminology, the circadian rhythm, which we all need to know. It's a neurophysiological term for our body's 24-hour clock. And we need to exploit this to the hilt. And that's how you can create your balance of wellness, which is our today's, highlight topic. Yeah. Yes. So here you can see Da Vinci's Victorian man. How he is, the time slot is divided between the activities in the day, that is, indoors, outdoors, and also sleep and light. Yeah, so this is again a very good handy reference for all of us. Yes. Yeah, and this is one of our works. You can also look us up on Kanika Bava Design on Instagram, LinkedIn. And you'll see a lot of stuff that we've been doing, and also more important, my 3 world records, which I think Kunal forgot to mention, when he just briefly, introduced us. So I've done these amazing world records, 2 for the Prime Minister's show, Make in India, and 1 for the Union Textile Minister, Smriti Irani, which was all, again, you can look us up. And you'll see a lot of stuff that we've been doing. But since the focus here is more on wellness, you can look, all the presenters have touched upon these aspects. So definitely, I'm sure you have great insights now, and you can put this to use in your daily lives. And you can shoot questions. I'm sure Kunal, you can send questions to Kunal, and he'll really comply with, and he will probably, if we are short on time. I don't know, how are we on time now, Kunal? Okay, so in case if we can answer, then fine. Otherwise, you can always post your questions and we'll come back. So now we all left with the big picture. Kunal, the last slide. The big picture. Yes. So you've all heard all the various presentations. Again, an interesting survey highlights that 60% of clients are willing to invest in wellness homes today. So this is a great opportunity for interior designers, architects, and also people who are looking for homes. So there are tailor-made spaces now with the accent on wellness. Design elements that are pivotal in wellness. You've seen how each one has showcased and highlighted them. This is all in all important for the balance of mind, body, and spirit. And now is the time for the paradigm. This is the time for the paradigm. This is the time to reflect, and let's all act together. Thank you so much for this session.
Yeah, we can take questions now.
Yes, we can take the question and answers now.
Yeah, I see this question. Are there devices in the market that can enhance emotions? Oh, are they really? Devices that enhance emotions? I think we just need to connect on a personal level. There's a lot of loneliness around. So I think it's more important now for people to interact with each other, for the emotional needs. And
okay,
connect with nature.
Can I add to this? So there are various there is a mattress company who's introduced a chat bowl. So people who are suffering from insomnia, who are not well, they are suffering from various other aspects, they can actually chat up with on this chat bowl, and they can really get inputs in terms of how to ease themselves, how to calm themselves, because like
That's
if you
really
see
nice.
the recent case of Sushant Singh Rajput, he started 1 year back with only 3 hours of sleep, and then just before the unfortunate incident, he barely used to sleep. So we have to understand the computer brain needs definitely rest. We're really all into the 24/7 cycle. So there are a lot of through your mobile apps and your other apps, you can get into all these specialized. You need to obviously Google search, do the good Google,
People
and
need
you'll
to
see that.
understand how to use social media and how to use technology with the right apps for wellness over here. That's what I think is the gist of this whole thing.
Yeah, that's very much important for the daily, for all of us in daily work also.
Yeah, and Kanika mentioned a very important point of sleep deprivation. Sleep seems to be the most overlooked aspect over here, and people take it for granted. So, a good night's sleep is extremely important for a emotional as well as a physical well-being over here. It's a very important point that you have touched upon, really.
So there is a question in commercial spaces, which color should be added for the director room? Yes, for director, it has to be in the southwest direction, Sapna, and you should normally go with the warm colors. So that is the most requirement in the director room is the warm colors.
Okay, there's another interesting question. Swapnil has written this question. So Swapnil, you've come out with all these wacky questions, and it says, can the experience be measured using a unit, example for happiness index? Okay, you'll be surprised. Yes, if you go to a psychiatrist, or like we've got friends who are they are doing psychology, they will tell you that they have this whole toolbox of looking at things and telling the story, and there is an index which they measure how your happy quotient, how happy you are. So I think this is a great question where we need to be aware, and it is more driven towards the psychologists. I think they are going to be great experts to answer this, but yes, there is an index to measure your happy quotient.
Yeah, that's really lovely. One more point I would like to add to what Ami said about which color should be added in the director's room. I would like to elaborate, not related directly to colors. Like if you're choosing artwork, there was an image in Geeta's presentation in which there was an image of a tiger. There was a painting which was of a tiger. She had titled it Risk, but I would like to use this painting to show dominance, to show superiority. So so this is how it can be applied to an experiential space, to show the emotion of dominance. I want to show I'm the dominating person here. I would like to place such a kind of painting over here. So that's how you can apply it.
There is one more question from Swapnil. Do synthesis or combination of all senses result in a different output?
One sec. That's also an interesting one.
Yeah.
One sec. What is that? Do synthesis or combination of all the senses result in a different output?
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. Combine all the
Yes.
senses together. The combination of all the senses together will make
Yes.
you, a wonderful person, a happy person in the world. Like
So
the
if you're-
senses, all the sensory organs, they give you a level of high or an excitement when you can do your work, like related to workspaces or home, wherever you are there. All the combination of all the senses together will make you a different person at a different level.
See, your wellness quotient multiplies
Absolutely.
many folds, right?
Yes.
When it's only one sense that you are activating or you are enhancing, then obviously your output is different. But if you are using the combination of all your senses to the hill to activate the wellness, I think that's like an atom bomb. I mean, fantastic. I don't think you can do better than that, right?
Yeah.
So there is
Anything
one more
else?
question in our chat box. Which colors should be added in to highlight the background in east direction of the walls? So the color which is to be highlighted in the east direction of the wall is more of the white colors, because it enhances and it's more auspicious for that direction. So that's where we have to use the white colors.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions? Okay, so we had a
I
great
think
audience.
Shabbir Patel has asked one question. Have pets, they are the best stress busters.
Yeah.
So is it a question,
Yes.
Shabbir, or you are suggesting to have pets?
It's a suggestion, but they
Yeah.
are stress busters, in fact.
They are stress busters. You should have pets. Yes. There is one more question for Kanika. Kanika, in this lockdown, how do we do outdoor?
Okay. So the thing is, yes, that's a pertinent question. Who's asking? Nidhi Modi. Okay. Yeah. So Nidhi, it's a good question. How do you do outdoors in the lockdown? Well, you can only go till your your door lobby, right? So you need to really see whether you are blessed with a small balcony. Otherwise, just open up all your windows, because the best thing for wellness is your exposure to sunlight, okay, and fresh air. So if you don't have, if it's a cramped up house, you don't have a balcony, solution one, open your windows, look at the time of the day, right? When it's the morning times are the best time, when you get fantastic oxygen, fresh air, right? And sunlight, like you can bathe yourself in vitamin D from your window. So obviously, that's your solution one. Solution two is you open the door of your house, and I'm sure there'll be at least a lobby to your door, right? From the lift or the staircase. So you can go up the staircase, and you can create the staircase as a passage of that outdoor area. So, each one has to really look at things like this. I mean, simple two solutions, and you can take it ahead. Because if there is a constraint, if there is a disadvantage, you need to convert your disadvantage into an advantage. And this is how you can do it. We have to find solutions in all our problems, right?
Yes.
So I hope, Nidhi,
Yes,
that's answered.
Yes.
And if you're like a nature lover, you can also have this, you get these bird feeders, you can hang them, and you can have these beautiful birds coming to your windows. It's going to enhance your outdoor experience totally. You should do that.
And also the sound that suggested by Sonia with the wind chimes or something, which is
Yeah.
hanging, and create a beautiful sound, and it makes you relaxes all your
It gives
senses.
you a lot of peace of mind. It calms you down. It calms you down.
It definitely calms you down.
You
It
can
does.
I think Ammi talked about it. You can also activate the sounds, right? So that sets up a great vibration.
Yes.
So again, look at the cardinal rhythm cycle, the Vitruvian man. Look at the phases and program yourself accordingly, and I think you will be sorted.
Yes.
So I think it's time everybody showed some self-love and looked after themselves, not just boosting your physical immunity, but also boosting your emotional well-being. Don't you think so, ladies?
Yeah,
It's about to show some self-love. We need to love ourselves.
Of mind, which is very, very important, especially when we are facing these lot of these issues right now.
Yeah.
So it's a time where we, all relax, have, cool mind, patience, and I'm sure the things will go good with all.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So great. I think we've come to the end of that.
Any more questions?
Doesn't seem like I can't see any more questions here.
I think we
Yeah.
have
Yeah, we are done.
Kanika.
Oh, yeah.
So then we should, I think, time to say, Nidhi says, love you all. Okay. So there's lots of love from us also coming
We
to you
also
guys.
love you.
Everywhere.
Yes,
Sending out.
us. So yes, so it was a wonderful session. Thank you to ARC Exchange, Kunal, and all the other presenters.